Hey everyone, you are listening or watching a special little Silksong mini pod. The heart of Silksong lives and sings within us. Well, I don't know. Maybe it does or maybe it doesn't. That's we're here to
Me immediately laughing.
Oh my god.
I already have some.
Holy
shit!
I
have some suspicions.
Wow.
I've made some assumptions based on some messages happening in the Discord about where this conversation might go. But
I've brought my Nintendo Switch too.
the three of us, yeah, mine's over here as well, so we can compare map sizes. But Silksong is out. You might be listening to this as its own discrete podcast going out to Remap Radio subscribers. You're hearing this early, but this will also go out as a part of our regular Remap Radio episode. But Silksong is big. We've all been playing it. And I just felt like we should just hop on a microphone and talk through some of those thoughts rather than waiting until the end of the week. So I feel like based on... Like, I could go in chronological order. Like, oh, Chia, you finished Hollow Knight. Like, how did you end up with your thoughts?
Yeah.
But I feel like I might need to start in hater corner.
Yeah.
Because okay, maybe hate is a strong word. But I have had some suspicions that perhaps Silksong has... I don't know. Rather than me preambling and making assumptions, Janet, how much time have you played with Silksong so far as someone that kind of bounced off of Hollow Knight? Jumped in on the hype train for Silksong. How is it going for you so far?
I've played 6 hours and 36 minutes of Hollow Knight Silksong. And honestly, at this point in my journey, I've done 3 sessions. Like, that 6 hours is split up across 3 sessions. And you're lucky that you caught me on this session where things are going kind of okay. Because on any given session, I might... not really have a lot of favorable things to say. I still do have
Oh my god.
I will say Hollow Knight Silksong has done wonders for my ego, which was already kind of inflated just by way of having this career. Because the amount of people who are like, Jen, I need your Silksong take. Like, you guys are sick out there. I love y'all. You guys help me do my job. Thank you for the support and the views and the clicks. But I think that is very funny, and I appreciate people caring about my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of criticisms of it for sure. I think at its best, I think the game is at its, I posted this last night on Blue Sky. I think the game is at its best when it's using the environment and the enemy design as a way to have a playful conversation with the player. And granted, Silksong, it plays rough, right? It's not exactly going to be kind to the player in its playfulness, but it's still really amusing and engaging, especially as someone who's played, video games for the last, I don't know, 25, 26 years of my life, which is most of my life, and also who's played a lot of Metroidvanias. And I think the game really sparkles and shines in those moments, times where it's like, ooh, this enemy has spikes that come out that kind of like can push you back. Or, oh, this enemy, flies around, or this enemy burrows underground and pops back up. Or there was a great moment I had last night where I was walking down a hallway because I heard a character singing, which is often how like NPCs will like sing, and you'll know like, oh, there's a friend nearby. But sometimes there's also like a cage nearby that traps you on your way to that friend. And then there's an enemy that's been like, you've been fighting for the last like 3 different rooms. And the immediate panic I had of, oh my God, what do? I don't have a lot of time. And then finding I can break out of that, fighting the enemy, killing the enemy, freeing the little like buddy who's probably like a side quest that's not gonna have a marker for. We'll get to that later. They add the markers way later. Why is that not earlier? I don't know. Why make the game fun immediately? That's something that Metroidvanias have struggled with for many, many years. But I think that stuff is really fun and cool, even though it's also mean and difficult inherently. Like, that's the flavor that they're working with, and I can live with that. I think where I find this game to be the least enjoyable is, funnily enough, when it's in the worst parts of its genre, the worst parts of Metroidvania and the worst parts of Souls, where it's like, okay, you're lost and you're doing a run back. It's like, bro, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't find that interesting. I don't find that engaging. I don't find it to be an interesting way to like push challenge on me. I find that to be an isolating way to like get me from not engaging in the challenge that I'm trying to reach. And, there's other things where I think the last big comment I have on overall criticisms, and then we'll get into like everyone else's thoughts and then digging, further into those details, this does have the Metroidvania problem of some of the stuff you get. It's like, I wish I had that can we start the game 5 hours into the game? Like, I finally got the dash. I forgot what it's called. It's called like something step, smooth step or silk step. Or, I don't know.
Swift step, I think.
Swift step. I got swift step and I'm like, now we have a video game, people. I can zip. I can do something. Again, I'm great at platformers. So not being able to like, struggling with the platforming because it's like that side dive was like kind of a pain in the ass. And then the other aspect too is just the ways that, because the game wants to teach you about its kind of currency system and it's like and the idea of shopping and the importance of like shopping, even though it's like, who wouldn't already know that? I don't know. But like the petty boneless map I could do without. It's like, oh, well, you can buy it and make it pretty good in like a few hours. It's like, why can't I let's just start there. It reminds me of the anime problem where it's like, oh, it gets good after like 7 episodes. Let's just start where it's good and then keep going. Why do we need this? Like, I hate when it feels like you have to almost like nerf my character in order to give me something later. Like, I want to feel an excitement when I get a new ability, not a like, oh, thank God, because like this wasn't as good later. But someone, people online have told me that's Hollow Knight, baby. It's like, F this, good skill, F that, So I would love to hear from y'all, your opinion, especially you, Chia, who's been entrenched in the Hollow Knight.
Finish Despelote.
Finish new gamer.
Hollow Knight. I mean, what else? What other transformative things are happening in your life, Chia? Because you're on a goddamn roll.
Look, to be fair, I was very close to the end of Hollow Knight when I restarted it.
You were very close to the end of Despelote for several months.
Everyone who starts Despelote is close to the end of Despelote.
Okay.
It's only like a 2-hour game.
Plus, it's like fundamentally different to revisit or push over to the finish line a difficulty trivial adventure game about the role that a sport plays in like your life and memory versus
these things are very
I am
different
in the end game of one of the harder games of the last 10 years and I'm just going to drop myself in and figure out what was happening there. Slightly different ladders to climb.
Yeah. This is the issue, is that the difficulty for me sitting down to something where I have to pay attention to reading and like listening to like content, not difficulty for me pogoing on people's heads in Hollow Knight and being and just jumping around. I feel like the big thing that helped me get over that hump 100% is that I had it on the Switch and I could just do it on train rides, so like easily 5-6 hours of the playtime I put in over the last couple of weeks was just literally I could do it on the subway, which I couldn't do with like a narrative game. I just could concentrate on words that way, where like the sort of muscle memory of like jumping through space, like moving through a space, especially in endgame Hollow Knight where you have like a double jump, you have a dash, like whatever, like it all just kind of like flows and like, yeah, it's fine, it's whatever. I don't have to like my brain isn't taxed as much, and I can focus on that. So that helped a lot. And like, I mean, I did spend a very long time, probably needlessly, on the final boss. I like got to the final boss, and I think that probably took me like an extra like 3 hours of just attempting the final boss because I was really bad at it. But I did.
Was that the first boss you had to fight in returning to Hollow Knight?
No, I also beat some weird grub in a sewer.
But like the first major sort of like skill check, hey, beat the game, which in theory is a giant skill check for.
Yeah, big guy shit up for finals energy from Chia for the Hollow Knight.
Yeah, it was definitely a spike compared to the other things I was doing. There was another boss in there, I forget who. But it wasn't nearly as bad, and I feel like I not really sequence broke, but like this is one of the things that can happen in these games. Is like it has an open enough order that like I apparently hit. I had unlocked the sort of final like story, like the final quest, before I had gotten every single ability, like that's the thing I did is I unlocked double jump, which I still didn't have, and then went and beat the collected the 3. We're doing it's spoilers here, right? Like
You collected the 3 mysterious objects.
17. Well, it's like the 3 dreamers. Yeah, I went and collected. I went and like freed the 3 dreamers. Kind of all in one fell swoop. And then went to the boss, and I was like, this is great. I'm getting the muscle memory back in on like all these buttons. I'm sure they'll probably just use the same control scheme. I don't have anything to worry about. And then these motherfuckers, and then these sons of bitches fucking completely changed everything by changing the fucking pogoing in this game. And my brain has been breaking, but I also love it. It's felt really, really like it's not a lot, but there's more at the beginning, I feel like, of Silksong as far as like player expression than there is at the beginning of Hollow Knight. Even just like the small facts of like Hornet can mantle once if you jump during a mantle, like you do kind of like a high jump, and you can kind of like there are parts where like there's ledges where you can kind of do a pseudo like wall jump like early on. The angled pogo is a little funky, but also you hang in the air a little longer. Like it feels like gravity is not as gravity is a little more optional for Hornet.
Kind of hangs out in a spin loop for a second.
Yeah. So you can like readjust. It is kind of harder to aim, I feel like, sometimes. Like I've definitely been like, I'm holding down, right? And then I'm holding right enough that I'm like, I just do a side swipe instead of
I'm always diagonal.
dodging.
Like physically how I hold. So I've been playing the game sometimes, handheld on my Switch 2. I think we're all playing on a Switch 2. Is that where we're all playing the game? And it's harder to do. I can consistently do the diagonal when I'm on a Switch 2 Pro controller. I cannot consistently do the diagonal to sort of get that jump on the analog sticks on the Switch 2 because there's not a D-pad, right? Like I play on a D-pad with the Pro controller, and I find that makes it much easier to get the consistency of holding. Because it's what you're talking about. Right,
I've met a lot of you over my stream. People.
Well, it's because it's just easier to know I'm hitting forward and down at the same time, which is there's just more room for error on the analog stick.
Right, exactly. Because it's like,
But real quick, Chia, are you a D-pad person?
I can't be because there's no D-pad on this thing. I've tried playing with the buttons and it kind of works, but they're a little bit in an awkward spot.
That's not a D-pad.
On this, it's not a D-pad.
It's
a deconstructed D-pad.
Yeah. No, but no, I've been like forcing my way through learning the like muscle memory of the exact like areas where it's gonna give me it's gonna let me turn around in midair versus, oh no, I've done a side swipe instead. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying my time with the game. I think I'm around the same time as you, Janet. Let's see. But
I promise you're not the same place as me.
no, I know where you are, and I'm sorry. You should not be there.
Are you in the Hunter's Marsh?
Yeah, she's.
I was in the Hunter's Marsh.
I feel like we should talk about that. I feel like there's been a lot of Hunter's Marsh,
and then I left.
Discourse,
and then I haven't come back.
Yes, I think we should talk about that specifically because I think it'll get into the game's use of the angle platforming and how prevalent it is.
5 hours and 5.5 hours, and currently in the Hunter's March.
So this game is a goddamn masterpiece. Almost certainly a lock for my game of the year. I've done nothing but think about Silksong. Silksong came out on Thursday. I don't play games on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, generally speaking. That's when the kids are home all day. I do not have time other than in like fits and starts, or can I play a co-op game, with my kids. Like I played a little bit of an upcoming game called Lego Voyagers with my oldest because I could sit and play it with her for 45 minutes. And football started. And so Thursday night, Friday night, hanging out with people, watching football. Sunday, all day, watching football. And yet, By the time I recorded this podcast, I've played this game for 10 goddamn hours.
Nice.
Like, somehow I managed to squeeze all that in and play 10 hours of Silksong. There's maybe half an hour of padding, of putting the game on pause, setting the Switch 2 down before it goes
That's
into
what I have going on right now.
sleep mode. I don't know if that counts against the clock. I don't know, but like I always bake that into like my Steam hour count, which is like,
Sure.
I'm always setting the device down, and I don't know if that's clocking against it, so I always kind of rewind the clock. But either way, it's a lot for me, given a period in which I don't normally have a ton of free time, and I think speaks to how I have felt about the game, in which literally when I'm not playing Silksong, I'm thinking about a way to play Silksong. I'm watching the Chicago Bears break my heart again on football on Monday night, and yet in between plays, I'm sneaking in like one screen's worth of adventure, then seeing a big play about to happen and going, well, I'm frustrated that I have to put the game down to watch this other game that makes me sad. And actually, the Bears game made me so sad that I didn't want to play Silksong afterwards, but I did. I found a way through it. I remarked
brave.
when we talked about Hollow Knight on Remap Radio last week that I thought the virality of Silksong into meme status was going to create a potentially harsh reality for a lot of people that liked being in the Hollow Knight fandom, but didn't play Hollow Knight and wasn't quite sure where they're getting into Silksong. Combined with, will they include any sort of modifiers or difficulty sliders or honestly accessibility options for people to play this game? The answer to all of those is no. And it's hard to judge how Hollow Knight feels versus Silksong because I played that game 7 years ago. But Silksong feels at least as hard as Hollow Knight, if not harder.
It's 100% harder. It's 100%. It's
Okay,
300%
so-
harder.
See, I didn't feel like it was harder, actually. Especially, at least the very opening. I thought the very opening of Hollow Knight was completely indiscernible to me. I had no idea where to go. I had no idea what to do. There was like a boss 2 rooms down that was really hard to me. Again, I'm told it's like the tutorial boss, but like, fuck you guys. Like, that boss was really hard.
It has a better open, like, there's a better opening.
I thought the opening
structure.
of Hollow Knight,
But
I
the
was
opening-
like, immediately no. Immediately no.
I think I sent this meme in our chat, right? The one where it's like the tutorial to Hollow Knight, press A to jump. The tutorial to Silksong, all of Hollow Knight.
That meme was in Spanish, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Is it just me?
Uh-huh.
Like, so many Spanish Silksong, and I can't tell if that's just my algorithm, like feeding me stuff, or this
It might
game is like
just be.
particularly popular in different.
Is
like,
Hornet Mexican? Yes, the answer is yes.
Yes, 100%.
it just seems like I'm getting like in different platforms.
She's
like,
wearing
fed
that
a lot
red
of
cape, you know?
Silksong stuff.
That
and
is true. The red cape is kind of, yeah, a little bit of a giveaway. For those who are not familiar, red is a very popular color amongst our community.
Amongst our community.
It runs rampant through. I don't know if it's all of the Latino community or just Mexicans.
South, Central and South America. Like,
Yeah.
red's a big color.
So I think what's interesting about the opening to Silksong, and I understand where you're coming from, Janet, on like it feels like the game. Frankly, so the spot that I'm in, 10 hours in, like mild spoilers for like some mechanical upgrades, but like I can climb walls now. Like I can dash.
That's nice.
I can slow fall, like kind of billow like a balloon. I feel like a
Like
pretty
Princess Peach.
yes, like fully formed character at 10 hours in. And I'm sympathetic to the argument that like, hey, it feels like this game is artificially holding things back that would just make the game not necessarily more approachable, but just more fun early on. My defense for why they have chosen to do it that way, especially in the run up to getting Swift Step, which is like so transformative in terms of how you play the game, that it's hard to imagine you were playing the game without it, and that some of the fights that you accomplished before having Swift Step would have been, if not trivial, much more manageable with Swift Step. I think the reason they do that is because one of the big evolutions between Hollow Knight and Silksong is readability of enemy attacks. It really feels like one of the things they thought about a lot is that, yeah, this game is full of weird little guys, but, and again, it's been 7 years since Hollow Knight. Maybe, Kato, you can sort of speak to this, having touched both of them a little more recently. But I feel like if you watch the enemies in Silksong. It is so obvious that, yes, it's a weird little guy with a fun little design, but there is so much time spent with, hey, we are communicating everything this character is about to do. There is such a readability to the design. There is no surprises. There are like the funny traps, and you can get yourself into trouble, especially with like pinballing between different enemies once you've sort of made a mistake. But even with bosses, I think the reason they don't give you the Swift Step early on is because Swift Step allows you to essentially like get out of a mistake that you made. Like it allows you to dodge something that you're not dodging because I was very calculated about what I'm dodging because what I want to do is dodge. It's like I'm panicking and I'm just going to like move around the arena in a haphazard way, and hopefully things reset in a spot where it's a little more approachable, or I kind of understand the pattern. And I think part of what I've realized over the course of getting to that point and even beyond is so much of the bosses. And look, there are ones that are like, you know, the Moorfly, and there's another one that people have been having a lot of trouble with early. I'll have to look up the name of it. That are just like difficult. Like they're not just skill checks. They are just like this is just kicking you in the knee like until you can find a way through it. But more often than not, I have found against many of the bosses, a lot of the times the reason I'm failing is because I'm flailing. And it's if I was just to watch the animation tells, actually it turns out not fighting them is a pushover. Like there's a guy near the Hunter's Marsh. He has like a big club. He jumps around a lot.
The guard that like basically blocks your way in.
I think so. Yeah.
The reason I said fuck this shit, I'm out. The second I like walked into the Hunter's Marsh.
He jumps around in your game. In my game, he wasn't jumping around.
Oh.
Because I fought him in the hallway before the arena room, and I killed him like on my like third try because I just would hit him. And then I'd leave, and then he'd burrow underground. He'd pop back up.
Oh, you
I hit
back
him.
in the tunnel.
I dip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So the tunnel.
I fought him in the tunnel.
The tunnel is a way that you can negate that.
I just left. I just fucking left.
You got to fight him in the
well,
tunnel.
And I want to get to that.
Yeah.
When this game says go high, I go as low as I possibly can to get underneath the thing.
That's dark. You know, there's a different boss that I was chatting with someone about on Blue Sky, and they're like, I cheesed it. I was like, there's no cheesing in these games. Like, there's a difference.
Well, the cheese is the fun. You have to find it.
There's a fine line between like an exploit. It's like, hey, if you like just get stuck in this geometry in a weird way, you know what I mean? Like
right. Which like, I would take that too. Just take whatever is free. I paid for the game already. They didn't codes.
In that fight, what you discover is if you just hang near the boss, he just jumps between you back and forth, and every time you hit him, it like cancels his animation, and he jumps, and then it's just like, oh. If I just didn't move in this arena, like he just goes do 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 do. And so I found a lot of satisfaction in working my way through bosses, just understanding the game is telling me everything I need to know. And yes, there's an execution aspect to it, especially
for the health of the boss, but
the health of the boss, the fact that every enemy seems to do 2 hits, which is a big change.
I do need to know that for my own mental health. That's just me
they tell you every time they like roar or something that you've changed phases. There'll be 3 phases. Don't worry about it.
I know, but sometimes it still feels like it goes on for longer.
I will say, so far the bosses aren't like nearly. They don't have like a big sponge problem. There's some enemies that are pretty spongy, but like I don't feel like I'm fighting. Sometimes with like a Souls game, and maybe the time is the same, and it's just like the perception of the time. But it feels like you have to fight the boss for like. Damn near like half an hour. Like these fights are like fairly short if you just like winning the fight doesn't actually take that long. Like it might take you a while to figure out how to do it, but it's like they're not like I don't know, wildly buff, at least like in this first like opening hours, which it's probably the only reason that I've done it. But yeah, the marsh is what like I had like my first run with Silksong, I was like, this is fun. I love Metroidvanias, which, sidebar, a lot of people who listen to my content don't know that. I don't know why that is. Nintendo, finish making that Metroid game. Get to work, baby. I don't know what you have to tell you. But yeah, I love Metroidvanias, but I also hate Metroidvanias because I'm a fan of Metroidvanias. That's how it goes. So, like, the opening hours of Silksong, I'm like, this is pretty fun. And also not that hard. Like, the very, like, first couple, like, hour or two, I'm like, if I didn't know what this game was at all, and I was previewing it on a floor at PAX, I would say this is a game that seems challenging, but I would not say that it, was what it was kind of vibe. second session I played 4 hours, and that's when I was like, well, sometimes you don't get to be here with everybody else, you know? And that was when I went to the marsh, which Patrick, you were on your way to, but I did want to set up how I ended up
please
in the Hunter's
continue.
March. That is, so yeah, like, I mean, I was out here exploring. I found the pogo mechanic. The second I saw the red things, I'm like, okay, obviously you jump on those, because that's it was funny. It's funny hearing people talk about this game and being like, oh, then I realized I could jump on them. I'm like, I play a lot of platformers. I knew instantly that you could jump on those. They're like jump pad coded for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
But fun. I love doing that in platformers. That's like one of my favorite things to do in a platformer. Here I really, really hate the side pogo thing. I think it's a little bit insane. I think the tutorialization space is, I just want more of it, honestly, because it's very clear that the sort of like before you get to the Hunter's Marsh, where there's like a lot of them, there's like a couple in a room, and then there's like a couple above that where it's spiked. So it's kind of like an easy, like a safe tutorial space. I mean, you have to kill the enemies first, but like once you do, it's like pretty safe to hang out there. And then a riskier tutorial space. And then they're like, and now you know how to do it. No, I fucking don't. So that was beef number one.
But also do it with like these big soldiers and like other, like throwing you in with enemies that are also in that space is fundamentally different than just like doop 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 doop.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of things about the mechanic that I find to be not my favorite. I think it's like, it's very slippery. It's hard to gauge when you're like standing above something directly. Like when you're like hovering above something, you do have to like do the diagonal, but it like hits more easily because of like the proximity, which granted, if it didn't have that, it would probably be like impossibly hard to do. Like a lot of platforming is, the game is actually secretly kind of helping you in a way that is almost imperceptible to you. So like totally get that part. The when you're like have one that's like like bottom, right, and then top, I still don't really know like the physics of that. Like, am I turning in midair? Am I repositioning myself before? Like, I don't really know. I feel like I don't have answers to a lot of those questions. And I feel like the first instances of doing that platforming, my beef with it is that I don't feel like I really know what I'm doing. And when I'm successful, I don't feel like I'm able to replicate it. I think there's something like unsettling, I guess is maybe a word to use, about being able to execute something in a platformer but not being able to replicate it. Like that's very abnormal, because like that's the whole point. The only time that happens in a platformer is if you just get tired, you know, you get fatigued from like running a course, so you're like, oh, now I'm making mistakes earlier. It's a lot like a lot of things that you practice in life. Like I think about this, I play piano, and like if you play a song too many times back to back, like you can't, like you're like, especially as like a newer player, like you're start to just like mess it up, which is why you have to practice in small chunks when you're like practicing a song. So yeah, I was really, really struggling with it, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I am like, bro, this kind of the game, because I know I got that platforming heat, so I don't know what y'all made over here. I will say, now that I'm further in, I don't know if I'm like, good ad's a little dramatic. I feel like I have to engage with it more. Like I haven't been fully back to the Hunter's March or whatever since like that first kind of session that I had with it. Because by the time I got to it last night, it was like 11:30, and my fiance's like, I'm going to sleep. You don't have to go to sleep, but I'm going to go to sleep. And I'm like, nah, this is good. Which, funny enough, that run, it took me back to where I ended. I did like a bunch of stuff, and I came back to the bench that I started at, which was like half cool, half like kind of like, that feels a little whack. I'm not going to lie to you. I know it's the design of a Metroidvania. But yeah, like now I feel like I've gotten better at it, but I'm still not good enough to really be able to like easily teach the skill to anybody. Which it kind of feels like Team Sherry's like, we don't want to teach it either, dog. Like, just figure it out. You'll sense it. It's got big, you'll sense it energy. I did hear, I've heard like a bit about other things that like might be like coming down the pipeline for like abilities and things. And people have talked about that. Hollow Knight was down. I just think it's weird to hit down and go to the right. I just think that's fundamentally strange. But I think I am getting used to it. But I don't think I'm ever gonna like, I don't want to become a side dash jump apologist, because I do think I don't think I like how it's designed.
Where are you at, Chia? Yes or no on angle jump?
I think it's neat, but I do think on an analog stick it's a little fiddly. Like I was saying before, like I have trouble switching directions, but there's very obviously platforming sections where it wants you to switch directions, and you just have to like hold, just pretend that it's not down, hold, pretend that it's a diagonal hold, right? Like
feels like it was designed on a D-pad. Like it feels like it was playtested,
100%.
designed on a.
Which also,
if you play with the go ahead.
It doesn't feel like I understand that the D-pad warriors exist. Patrick, I'm learning that you're a D-pad warrior, and that's okay.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I frequently, in the same way that like Rob gets upset at me when I'm like, oh, I'm playing this. Don't you have a keyboard and mouse in front of you? I do. I'm playing with a gamepad. Like I just prefer a gamepad. And even in games where, in theory, you could get some like mechanical edge out of using the D-pad, I tend to use the analog stick. I like how analog sticks feel. Here in this game, deeply specifically to like there are times where I will have it in handheld mode and I've got something on TV or some sports on TV. Oh, tricky platforming section. Time to dock it, get on the Pro controller, and like I find that I like a lot of the way I work through difficult games is like finding consistency, right? Like that's how I play a hop shot or anything like that. And I find in Silksong, I'm able to do with greater consistency on a D-pad. And the Switch 2 Pro's controller's D-pad is not like the best D-pad in the world, but it's better than the goddamn face buttons on the Switch 2. And that's not a diss to the Switch 2 face buttons. You can play most everything just fine with the analog sticks, but it feels like that mechanic especially, like I nail, let's say, 80% of the time when I'm using the Pro controller. It feels much closer to like 70 or 60% of the time when I'm just playing in handheld mode. Like I can
C's get degrees, baby. Because
that's what I mean. Like, I can get past it, but I don't. I feel
I just
cool as
physically
shit.
don't like how it like how the D-pad feels. Like it feels very unnatural to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people will be like, "Oh, like a million years ago it wasn't." Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I also don't do a lot of things I did when I was fucking 12, okay? Like it's like, yeah, like I don't want to play that way. Like the D-pad, like bro, D-pads suck. Like I get that they have like, the specificity. Like I do not care. It feels like trash, and I feel like trash when I play on it. So I probably could. I'm sure I could kind of do anything, right? So it's like,
but
yeah,
also
I
this
could
game
get good
doesn't
at the
say
D-pad.
at the top, like and a game will say like this game is best played on a controller, or right? It's like we have mouse keyboard controls, but like really you should play it. Like it's not as though this game comes out and says like because of the way we designed the jump, we really think you should have a control of the D-pad. So you have like it is. I think it is totally noteworthy to if knock or question the implementation of that mechanic, given that 99% of people are going to be playing with a fiddly analog stick.
Yeah, and there I am because I don't want to use it. I tried using the D-pad. It didn't. I don't think I was able to get like. I'm sure I could gain the precision with attempts, but like the D-pad still just feels so foreign and so stiff in 2025 that I'm like, we're just gonna figure it out some other way. I will say the much to my, I don't know, bitterness. I think because I do think the platforming was like such a steep curve. And I'm like, we're just jumping on things. This should be like easy peasy. Because the other thing too is like the point of like hard platforming is like engaging with like a difficult environmental setup, which I get. Oh, that's coming later. But it's like, why is just doing the thing hard? I find that to be kind of a wild proposition. But now that I am getting better at it, and like learning the spacing a little bit more, I will say it's really nice to have the dash jump as a tool in combat. I'm like kind of hitting that thing like all the time because I just think it's useful.
What abilities do you have, by the way? Like where you're at right now?
Ooh. Me? Is there an easy way to see that?
No, it's just like things that you can use, right? So you have the dash. You just said you had the dash, right?
Yeah, I have the dash, and I have the thing where you like throw a thing of silk at somebody.
You throw the
attack.
Yeah, the attack. That's all I have.
You don't have the float thing yet.
Nah, I don't got that. I know that's coming up because I saw the vents and I saw other people stream the game, so just on the internet. So it's like, okay, well, it's like which is also kind of like I mean, that's not that deep for me. Like, I don't care about that much, but it is kind of a like a lot of this stuff. It's like, okay, I finally got this thing I saw someone else talk about kind of vibe, but that's just being on the internet. Yeah, that's all I have. So, what do you have? Because we're in the same hour spot. So what do you have?
I have the vent. I have the dash, the needle throw, and the floaty thing. I have the floaty thing with the vents because when I hit Hunter's March the first time, the big guy in the door being like, I was like, nah, nope.
Drifter's cloak.
The Drifter's cloak. Yeah, yes, I have the Drifter's cloak.
The peach umbrella.
Yeah.
Yes, that too. That was in the dev code, but then they renamed it.
I immediately noped and found a different path, and ended up getting the peach umbrella before going back to Hunter's March, which I think is quote unquote intended, given the way that there's those, in the Hunter's March, there's one of those fucking spouts, right? Like the wind vents that like pushes you up, which I didn't even know. I just I noped out because the guy big, me small, and I was just like,
He's really hard too. You basically can't get. I mean, you can get hit once, I guess, but
like once and that's it, right? Like if you don't heal after that, you're done because it's like the big club hurt for like 3, I think. Or
I will say, if this game didn't have the healing mechanic, which I know Hollow Knight also had, I would not play this game. There's like no way in hell. So I respect the game has that.
Which is so
I think
weird.
That's smart.
But it's also strange in this one, and I'm
how does
still
it work
kind
in
of
Hollow Knight? Can you remind me, how does healing work in Hollow Knight?
In Hollow Knight, you have a soul meter, which is a little more analog thing than it feels like Silk is, but because Silk is all or nothing. But basically, in Hollow Knight, you would hold the button, you will hold it down, and it would charge up, and each like second or so, you would heal 1 pip of health, one of your masks. And then it would slowly drain your soul meter. And so the big difference is here is that you tap the button, you lose all of your silk, and you heal for 3 or 2, 3. Sorry,
3.
You heal for 3, right? Like
that part I definitely know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right,
yeah. All right. I'm down to 2. Time to heal for 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's like, well, I'm cheap, so I'm like, I gotta wait until it's empty, because if not, like, I'm not gonna be able to.
No, not
this
empty.
is my process. This
you
is
have
my
to do
well,
that too.
Well, no, I do it at 3.
The 3 empty, 2 left is what I mean.
Yeah,
'Cause you
yeah,
start at
yeah,
5,
yeah.
Right? So
Yes,
when you
yes,
get
I
to
wait
2
till I'm-
health, I go,
Yeah, when I get to 2
time
health-
to hit the fucking button.
Yeah, sometimes if I'm feeling saucy, I'll throw my silk at someone before I need to, and then I'm like, I think I can build it up again before. Because like if you just sit on it, you're kind of wasting your time. Like you're wasting you could be, min-maxing it more.
That throw the needle attack, does like a fair amount of damage. It speeds up things. So when I started using it more regularly in boss fights, I was like, oh, I hit phase 2 on that real fast. I should be using that for damage more
it's pretty
often.
nice.
But like the fact that you can do it in the air, right? Like you can do it mid-air, you just fucking stop. That's kind of sick. I think the animation takes about the same amount of time, but you hit 3, but then you lose all your silk, which is like, that's rough. Because you used to be able to like, I could heal like 1 or 2 pips and then still have a little bit left over to do one of my spells in Hollow Knight. So it makes that choice, like they've done like a kind of hard trade-off on like, yeah, you're gonna get 3 whole pips all at once. You're gonna get 3 whole health all at once, but you're losing all of your resources, right? You're spending
now.
meter, right? I assume that once you get, I have unlocked 1 extra pip of.
I've gotten
Silk.
I've gotten one silk upgrade, but that's all I've gotten. I'm twice as far as you, and I have not gotten a second one.
That's rough.
I just 10 hours in got like 1 mask, like full mask that gets you an extra.
I'm a quarter of the way there. I got 1 piece.
Yeah, I found 3. Like I saved my rosaries for like there's like a piece of mask you can buy
from.
I was like,
I'm
not spending that until that's the last piece of the goddamn puzzle that I need. And I had 3 and then clocked that to get the 4th. But I mean, 10 hours in, I still don't. I have 1 silk upgrade, 1 mask upgrade, and that's because I'm like really looping back with my upgrades to find like the paths that are now open.
I'm saving up for that key. I found where that key goes.
I know where that in the fire area.
Ooh. I took a poor man's map marker. Have you guys done this yet? Where you hold the map while you're at an area, and then you just screenshot it on your
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch, and you're like, now I know what's there.
Yeah, I know what's there. Yeah.
Because it's like, and I honestly need to do that more, because it's like, I don't know where the fuck anything is. Like, I don't know where these fucking vendors are. I don't know where I got the way I got that fucking last piece of fruit 3 hours ago, and I'm like, I would love to turn this in. Where the fuck is that person? I don't know. And I am told, oh, well, later you can get like side quest marker. Why not now? I don't think it would change that, but like, I just would like it. I would like it now. I'm over the like, I'm over that. I don't like it. It doesn't add anything to my experience. It makes everything worse. It makes everything take longer. Yeah, the moss fruit.
The druid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or whoever wanted the fruit. Yeah.
the druid,
I don't know where they
the
are.
druid.
They're probably in the
I can tell
grassy
you.
spot.
Yes, it's the grassy spot.
But why do you need to tell me? Because I already knew at one point.
Yeah.
Why do you need to tell me?
I don't
You
know.
shouldn't need to tell me.
Well,
That's my opinion
the funny
on it.
thing
Maybe
is
y'all
that
like not knowing, but then you do know. I don't know.
I think the
I
game.
walked into the druids. I didn't walk into the druids thing because I heard the laughter and it was a little too menacing, and I was like, that might be a boss. Let me go somewhere else. Immediately died. Ate shit. Had to like loop all my way around. Like decided to peek my head in. I was like, oh, there's a fucking bench in here. That would have been nice like an hour ago. Second thing though, I walked into that one having all 3 fruit already, and I was like, oh, that's a funny way to do.
You jerk.
That's a funny way to do like a tutorialization of these.
For you.
But it's like, oh, I can. There's
Teacher, I already have my 3 fruit. Sit down, Chia. Other people are still working.
I think it speaks though to like a different type of like, I don't know. I can see how at least a couple of them are missable early on. But I also I have this fear of like never returning to a place because of time. And so like I tend to maybe overstay in certain areas, just like hitting all the walls and trying to make sure I didn't miss a secret.
Oh my god,
like...
so many, and then they're
like-
aware that you're hitting the walls because they always put some brush
Right.
in front of many of them, or some rock that makes a sound.
It makes the
and you're
first hit be like, oh, that's a fake one, and then
Woo!
you
And nah, that shit didn't
God
move. That
fucking
shit
damn
didn't
it.
move.
You motherfuckers.
I mean, there's two things that are interesting. One, I sympathize with your frustration, Janet, and yet I think the game's like design ethos is we want
Evil.
you lost. Like we want it's in some ways it's what makes the popularity of Silksong a lot like similar to an Elden Ring, or even Dark Souls before it, proportionally fascinating. Which is like this is a game that is like anti-player is definitely like not. I don't think it's evil necessarily, but a lot of games these days, for in many ways very good reasons, right? Like accessibility, like make games that are playable by like wider swaths of people, and then that makes games more customizable for folks that don't necessarily need the for strictly accessibility reasons. This is a game like pushes hard back on the player so hard in an unforgiving way that the fact that it's also going to be one of the most popular video games of the year is weird. Like it's strange. Like that's not usually how this stuff goes. And so I think it's very meticulous about how it does that, but I'm also sympathetic to maybe you don't like that. Like it's okay to not like
But
Silksong.
also, it doesn't do it the whole time. So I'm just like, why are we whack for part of the time? Is it just so I could feel? It's like I walked 2 ways up to school, so now you have. Because it's like, if it was just its design ethos, then it would never have. I mean, again, this is kind of like alleged on a technical sense. I haven't gotten there. But it's like, you're going to give me that marker. So like, why are we waiting? It's like, did you think I was already not going to explore? It's like, I'm going to. There is a way to track side quests like later is what I heard. So it's just like, I don't know. And sometimes I can feel good. I think that only feels good when I have like a piece of that kind of idea. Like when we think of, we talked about the fast travel a lot in like Prince of Persia, where it's like, oh, this would like, clearly they're going to make it easier later. And then they never did. And then they updated the game and they're like, okay, now it's easier. It's like, yeah, it's like, that kind of just felt like, here's a thing that's convenient. Maybe they'll make it more convenient later. And they're like, no, we never did. It's like, oh, okay. I don't know. Like they just decided not to. But like, so that's my thing. Because it's like, it's not like you don't want all that information to be completely obfuscated. So it's like, why are we waiting? What are we waiting for?
Or I guess what I would agree with you on is it's a little silly to gatekeep it behind. You could just sit and grind like a nearby rosary enemy like over and over, purchase all the upgrades from the singing vendor, and like get all the map markers that you can. She's so good. My kids. Side note, like the sound effects in this game are so good. My kids sing that.
Yes.
Like,
It's very catchy, yeah.
like that and like other little like singy like bits. There's a lot of good like music, like kind of musical cues in the game that are like character specific. And when I'm playing this game on TV, like I'll hear my 5-year-old like over in the corner like coloring, going na 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 na. Like, she's like, "Oh, is that the lady who gives you the maps?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." Like,
Yeah,
so
where the fuck is she at?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Wait,
like,
you haven't found? Hold on, you haven't
No,
found.
I've got.
Okay.
No, I have some maps. I have
Okay,
3
okay,
maps,
okay.
but I need more maps. Like I just need more. I need
the maps
more.
roll out as you find her, like in each location, and if you miss her, you can then purchase those maps back in. Was it Bone Town?
Bone broth or whatever.
Bone Bottom.
That's not better. That's still an upsetting name. But eventually, that's like you can go back and like if you quote miss her in that area. I don't know if you have to find her and then that unlocks that map. I don't know exactly how that cycle.
Bro, I don't know anything
works.
in this.
So the other thing
That's the thing too.
other
It's like
thing
I'm
that
just
is-
learning from the streets.
is so funny about this game is, and
I think
Kadogan,
she only goes. She's there. I haven't run into this issue. I can't answer definitively, but
maybe you can answer this for me. But it is the case more often than not in Silksong that we have been trained by video games since they existed and had boss fights that you defeat a boss and you get a treat. Like something will drop, you will get some major upgrade. Zelda, you get like a health, you get a new heart. Like that is part of the loop. There is a discrete itemized reward, like like good job, have this thing. That basically never happens in Silksong. They don't even drop resources. You're not getting you're getting like no upgrade equipment. You're not getting like the little chunks of rock that you need to like purchase certain tools. Like none of that happens. Like I'm further than you have fought some like we're gonna get literally they just announced a patch to nerf some stuff in the game. We should get into that before we get out of here.
No,
you're cool. Like, well, you might not be cool. We'll get into it.
Yes, the Lies of P track. Let's go. The longer I wait to finish the game,
I think it is fundamentally fascinating. I've been waiting to hear. I was hoping before we did this that we'd hear some sense of like what relationship they're going to have with the community. But like this game, just like you did it. Way to go. Like no sense of the accomplishment is what you feel in the room. And sometimes you defeat a boss that opens up the area and around the corner is an upgrade,
right.
But it is not directly tethered to the completion of a really difficult task.
Yeah.
And that is, it's so deliberate to not give you like no resource reward. Like sometimes a door opens.
Didn't what's her face give you something?
Huh?
Fuck. What's her name? The one with the Yuri.
Yeah, the anime one.
Yeah, the one that's
it's like
obviously
needle
going
or thread or something. Like her. What's
right,
her name?
Right. Fuck. What's her name?
I'll look it up.
Didn't she
I'll
give
look it
you? Maybe I'm misremembering.
But
that she gave you a
it's
part of
rare,
that.
right?
No, it's super rare.
At the very
Yes,
least, we can say 95% of the time you're defeating like what feels, a boss you might bash your head against for an hour.
Lace.
At least.
Lace.
That was a fun fight.
Yeah,
I liked
Lacey?
that fight.
Yeah.
You
That
don't
was
get
probably the
anything.
easiest fight that you had in this
Just
game.
dash.
Because it's like, I can just, dash around.
Just
Like,
dash.
But you had the wait. What?
I had the dash for that, yeah. Did you not? How was that even possible? How'd you open the door?
I think you need the dash.
Do I need
Yeah, because
the
you need to, there's a lever
Maybe
you
I
open
forgot to
above
use
that
the
opens the door
dash.
below. That's possible. I was using the dash before they gave me the dash. All I do is run away. As I hit and I run, and it's a hit and run game for me for the most part.
Do you see that when you dash, you also run? You sprint?
Yeah, that's super
Okay.
sweet.
Yeah.
I know it's like you end up running too far,
teach
and
you
I
that.
like,
It's just
yeah,
there.
it's a thing. Which, like, you know what?
It
I don't mind because it's like I can
run,
press a
right?
button.
on the description.
Ooh, let me see. I actually screenshot the description because I was afraid. I was afraid that, well, one, I wanted to see how long it took me to get this upgrade, because I found that to be a fascinating detail compared to the people. But I also was like, if I don't know how to do something in the game, how can I ever look back to see what I can do? There's no way to. So it says hold ZR. Yeah, no, it says sprint at a blinding speed beyond one's natural limits, chase down prey, and leap great distances. So yeah, they do tell you that you can
sort
run.
of. Like really, you press the button
different. Well, it's,
and you dash.
In the menu, it says swift step, dash forward, and sprint with unnatural speed as though gliding upon silk. I guess I can see how the
silk.
Yeah. That's a dash, and then you accidentally discover it runs.
I was using it to zoom around because I don't know.
Yeah, and it's
maybe...
so fun. Even though like I immediately ran into like a cavernous hole, like because I was like I got lost in my own sauce. But it feels fun to do that because the movement feels good.
Yeah, it feels so
I think it's an amazing. Personally, like I really love how it allows you to. After you've been through a sort of location well enough to kind of like know, like, okay, here's where people are. You can just fucking
sorry,
run.
Did you just die in the middle of holding up your Switch 2 and dashing?
I wasn't dashing. I was remembering. Chia, why don't you finish your point? But I have another thing to complain about.
You were having a private moment, and I was like,
no, because I looked and I was like, yeah, I want to talk about this other thing because, like, what the fuck? Go ahead.
Okay,
well,
sorry.
I just really enjoy how it sort of rewards knowledge of a space, because it feels like there's so many spaces that are, once you know it, there are specific stretches, even in like something as kind of dangerous as the Hunters. What's it called?
It's either March or Marsh.
March.
Is it Marsh?
March. Where I feel like I could run through the level because I know which path. Like I can like find the path to avoid enemies and jump over the ones that I like run into. Right. Like, and there is ways to like design around that. Right. Like make the spaces a little more narrower so that you have to fight things along the way. But I think it feels intentional to me that the way that they've designed a lot of these spaces is like, oh, you can kind of like, you can start doing the Dark Soulsy, I'm just running past all the enemies to get to the next area thing at a certain point of like having been through it enough, right? I think obviously like this is kind of like a weird like right, like the Souls games pull on the Metroidvania games as well as like Rogue and stuff, right? Like it's pulling from all of that history. And I think like this is kind of looping. It feels like it's looping back around even more so than Hollow Knight for some reason. Like I feel like Hollow Knight definitely still had its roots in a lot of that, given the difficulty and the way you had to do corpse runs and the way that you had to like kind of like it, you know, learning the bosses and their tells was kind of like a big deal in that game as well. But for this one, I feel like they just the fact that they've made it a little bit easier in some moments to be like, nah, I don't need to fight the little grunts anymore. Like I've repeated this section enough that like now I know how to like just get through it to get to the next part even, and I don't need the current. I'm maxed out on bones. I can't hold any more. I think they're shell shards or whatever, right? The tool stuff. I'm at 400 constantly. I can't get any more, so I don't need to kill them anymore unless they're the kind that drop rosaries.
Do you not have the tool that you're using that currency for yet?
Yeah, I mean, okay. I just never fucking use it. Also, you
should. I think it does meaningful damage.
The daggers.
Like, yes.
Yeah. I have a boomerang now too. It's pretty sick.
Well, I haven't bought. Yeah, I need to go buy.
There's a. I just got that in the Hunters March.
It was one of those things where I was like,
guy.
I was like, one of the tools. I'm like, I'm sure one of these tools. To get the X Guides writer in me, I'm like, one of these is like the wrong thing to buy. But I'm just gonna buy what I want to buy and see later.
Yeah.
That everyone's like, surely no one's buying the pouch upgrade. This thing is trash. And I'm like, I'm gonna buy the pouch upgrade. I want to be able to hold more stuff. It's a game that gives you a lot of stuff.
That is like,
wait, what is the pouch?
And then you can make more tools.
Management 101.
You can just get more shards. You know, you can hold more shards, so that way you can make more tools. Yeah, so that way you can make more. You know, theoretically, I'm guessing. I don't know if you also need like a fancy tool maker kit or something.
I got that
'cause
one.
also,
I got that one.
the details are not like that thorough in the thing where it's like sometimes like I bought the magma bell because it felt like I would need it.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, do I need it?
You do. No, you do. You do. You
Great,
do.
because
You
I
do,
bought
you do,
it
you do.
because I was like, it seems like this is what I
don't-
need. I don't know.
Leave the march. Find the other path. Go under the
Goodbye.
march.
That's my like tip to
100%.
anyone playing this game.
Yes.
Like, this game is more open
I feel
than
like you should just put like a fucking door at the marsh then at that point. I don't know. I just
The door was the
like,
guy. The door was the big
Yeah,
guy.
I
should
should
have
have
Big
made him
scary
harder
guy.
because he wasn't that hard.
I walked
All
away.
right.
I ran
Uh-huh.
away.
You put him
'cause
in the
guy
hallway.
was too big and scary.
I think it's meant
Here's
to
the
be
thing.
a check, like not just a skill check, but sort of a hey,
yeah.
go do other
No,
stuff and
no,
come
no,
back.
no, because y'all fucking good at games. I will not have you good at games bitches gaslight me. Here's the thing. I've been hearing, go somewhere else. Ooh, sweetie, is Elden Ring hard? Just go in the other direction. You know what's there? More fucking hard shit. So I was like, nah, I'm tired of being gaslit by y'all. I can't.
No.
The thing over there is easier. Is it? It's easier for you. It's easier for you. I have to just try
But
beat
then
my
you
head
went
against
to
the wall
shitty,
because
you went to
I.
shitty platforming world. Like,
Yeah,
what-
no,
like,
I
I'm
think-
sorry. I'm a shitty platforming world. You mean Hollow Knight Silksong? Yeah, I went to shitty platform.
No,
I
no.
was
It,
being dramatic,
it,
but
it feels
I was like, I can't just assume that the next thing again, what the good gamers will never understand about the rest of us is like I can't just assume that I will be able to do the next thing because that's not been true before. So it's true to you. Y'all have evidence for that. For me, sometimes I do have to just like step up and do it. So that's why I
guess
what
what we're suggesting is that this game can make you feel as though the path in front of me is the left to right. Like, that's the path forward. And more often than not, that is entirely incorrect. You've been made to feel that way by like how you've gotten there, but that it's not open world in the sense that Elden Ring is. But
right.
at basically any time, there's always something else you could do. There's always like a new area that you could kind of poke at, and that there are times frequently in this game where you should just like once you've ran a boss, 6-7 times, unless you feel like you're on the verge of cracking it, it is worth just leaving, and maybe you'll get a tool upgrade or find something else that will, or you'll fill out a mask and like that extra health bar. Like these hard games with like bosses that are as difficult as they are in Silksong, it's always a fine line between, am I just not doing it, like, and I just need to do it, or should I leave and come back? And it is fundamentally different than an Elden Ring where it's like as simple as, well, turn around and go to that giant region the other way. In Hollow Knight, it's, well, I'll go through that area and then I don't have a map and I don't know what's there. But I would encourage people to fight that feeling of just, sometimes you do have to bash your head. This is a game about bashing your head sometimes, but there are instances in which leaving, because I left the Hunter's March. Like I made it to a fight, in an arena fight where you get help from, let's call it a friend, and wasn't doing well in there. And I left for 3 hours and did other
cool.
stuff.
That was my
Fuck.
first arena fight ever in the game, also, which was
Yeah.
like the worst way to learn about
Wait,
arena fights in that game.
what?
Yeah.
How?
The first time I ever did an arena fight, it was that, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm forgetting some other ones, but I don't think I am. And then I went elsewhere, and there were like 2 that were like mad easy compared to the other one. So I was like,
first.
so I was like, yeah. So that's the thing. Like I played a different Hollow Knight Silksong
Yeah.
for like the middle 4 hours of my time.
Which is
Yeah.
how
Absolutely.
this game goes, right? Like, I do
Right.
think it is possible.
Yeah, angrily. Yeah, that's how the game.
This game does not, because it doesn't, it is easy to go off, like, I don't know if I would call it intended path. It's very easy for you to have a fundamentally different experience than another person that colors how you feel about the game. And I think that is by design, but also means you could end up having a worse time with the game. I think it allows itself for you to have that kind of different experience.
Ooh, 2 quick things. One, which like again, I know people say that's what I love about gaming, like talking to people and like connecting. And I'm on the playground and I'm talking. Sidebar: we were not in my school. We were not fucking talking, sharing gaming secrets on the playground. Okay,
nah.
like Southside Chicago, people didn't have consoles. Okay, like I was basically rich because I had a GameCube. Okay, we were fucking swapping secrets. So I don't know what fucking treehouse school y'all went to because that was not my childhood. Anyway, but the learning that you can hit enemies through the platforms was like a big Like, oh, this is super helpful. Again, would it be nice if maybe the game told me and not my chat? Yeah, but you know what? We got the information we ball. A thing that I want to complain about, if I could have my singular complaint about Silksong.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Is
Finally,
the,
let's get to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be a bitch or anything. But anyway, the fucking compass is a tool. Okay, so I'm just not using these tools. Like this slot's just not going to get used because I always want the compass and I can only equip stuff at the bench.
Yeah.
I feel like the
You
compass
can
being
get
there,
more
I feel like
slots.
it's sure, but again, I feel like it's something I feel like they played Make It Whack and then they like dialed that part up, I think, a little higher than I'd like it to be.
But
because I'm like, a compass is a slot. Like,
but the slots are segmented, right? Like they
do you
can't
mean?
overlap.
I guess what she's saying is once you've equipped the compass, you might as well pour cement over it. Like she's never going to unequip.
Right.
Yeah, like
the
why would I
compass.
unequip the compass? Would I just don't want to know where I am? Like
You can open more slots. You get these memory locks that open up like more slots.
I mean,
but
you
also
change
get
it for bosses, right?
Sure.
That's what I do.
oh no, I don't change it. I haven't changed it yet.
Oh.
I have to
I mean,
change
if you,
it at
if
a
you have
bench,
something
and the
worth
bench is
changing into.
42 yards away 9 times out of 10. I feel like in every other genre where like bad checkpointing is bad, and in this genre we're like, we don't care. And I don't I genuinely, this is not even trying to be a jerk, I cannot wrap my head around why people enjoy that. Even from a difficulty standpoint, I don't understand the joy of running a hallway just to get to a boss. It feels like it's always kind of unpleasant.
Even From Software has largely like Elden Ring does not. So we're describing as boss runs, right? Where it's like I have to go from this checkpoint just to get to the boss to try it again and try and succeed. That was a integral part of many Souls adjacent games for many years. Elden Ring, From Software basically finally just rolled over and said, yeah, like we're gonna put the checkpoint like right in front of the boss. Sometimes you'd have to dodge maybe an enemy or two, but like by and large in Elden Ring, you would die, spawn back in front of the boss door, and you could either leave, do something else, or go right back into the boss. I'd be curious if people who are listening to this, this is not an option for the three of us because we're playing on Switch 2, but there's a very healthy mod community for Hollow Knight, for Silksong, to introduce these sort of either accessibility or modifications to the game design that I would not describe as game breaking. Like I'm with you, Jen. If this game patched in, hey, it's not a bench, but like you'll just spawn in front of a boss door, like going forward. I don't think that changes like the game fundamentally. And so there's a really popular mod right now for Silksong called Stakes of Marika Rebirth Everywhere, which is Stakes of Marika are from Elden Ring, which are different than. Is that are those all the bonfire stakes? Stakes of Marika are different than a bonfire in Elden Ring, right?
Yeah. No, the bonfires are called Sites of Grace.
Sites of Grace.
The stakes of Marika are specific individual checkpoints for bosses.
Which
is a different
the only thing I can think of, which Chia, I don't know if you were going to get to this, if this is your perspective too, on how it might change the game, is the only justification I can think of would be, and I'd have to go back in my memory bank to think about the bosses I have done. Where were those checkpoints and what was that experience like? Which I don't really remember. They kind of all meld together. But the Hunter's Marsh or whatever. March. I don't know.
It's fine.
Fire
it's
zone.
Fine.
Because they're ants. The ants go marching one by one.
Oh, I didn't put that together.
Okay. Yeah.
Hell yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can live with that.
All right.
I can live with that.
Also,
I'm not
sorry.
unreasonable, Chia.
Before we, I'm sorry to interrupt. Have you all noticed the little ants carrying all the
they
things
pick up
around?
the bodies.
They pick up the
it's
bodies.
very cute. I mean,
love that.
we haven't talked about it because maybe it's just kind of so obvious. But yeah, the art direction in this game is super beautiful. The animation work is really clean, and I think the sound design is phenomenal. Minus, personally, I don't like the audio voices of the characters by and large. Like the weird like grunts of the grunts.
What?
I think is
what?
weird.
What?
They sound too human. I think it sounds like a guy. It sounds like a guy in his studio.
Wait, are you?
Look,
You hate on
sounds
the
like
little ladybug tapping her like
The enemies,
No, she's fine. She's fine. The enemies who are like,
Yeah.
like it's like, yeah, it like literally just sounds like a guy in the booth. Like, oh yeah, so the enemies are gonna go, it's like, okay, well, you need to like, I don't know. I would never clear that as good sound design for me personally. That's just me. Different perspectives. There's some charm there, I guess. it's creepy and weird, and it takes me out of like the fantasy of the world because it just sounds like it's a dude talking into like a paper bag or something. Like it doesn't feel designed. But anyway, for the only thing I can think of with the checkpointing is maybe it's the game trying to tell you like, you see how this is really, really hard? It's like maybe too hard for you. Like the kind of, you should leave the Hunter's March and do other stuff. Maybe that's why. And it's not even a boss thing. That's like
Sometimes they like boss runs. Like it's a choice in how they do their level design that is one I could live without. Like if there was just an option that was like, hey, like in the options, accessibility, like respawn in front of a boss, like I would click it. Like I
also
would click
feel like so many of because again, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I mean, obviously again, would I like difficulty options in this game? Sure, because they would make it so that I'd be less afraid that I'd have to stop playing it kind of vibe. So sure, yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like I wouldn't like want that as an option. But without having that as an option, there are just inherent design things that I think could make there's like my beef with some of the challenge in Silksong is I think it's a boring challenge. I think it's boring to have to remember where the fucking druid is. I think it's boring to have to run all the way back here. I think it's boring to not know where I am. Like I think that stuff is thoroughly uninteresting, and I feel like if this game came out and had a lot of these quality of life things that I want, we would all be sitting here saying, it's great that it has this. So it's like, I feel like it's a little silly to pretend. I mean, again, if people genuinely think, oh, no, I like this aspect of it, sure, people are entitled to that opinion. But I feel like everyone collectively would be like, we all agree this is better, right? So then if that's true, by the inverse, wouldn't you agree that this is not as good as it could be kind of thing? Again, if you like it, it's like, I like that the compass takes a slot. I don't relate to you, but I respect that you have that opinion. But I think the reality is a lot of people would be like, it's more convenient not to. First of all, how dare you? Second of all, it's not that good if I'm being honest. It is the shard pendant where I get more shards. I get more shards when I hit things, and then I can fill up my pouch that I bought. Yeah.
What are the shards for?
They're for crafting my little things that I throw at people.
Okay, but
other stuff.
I've never gone under like 300 shards. Just like, I don't know.
Well, that's only because they only let you craft at a bench, which is also kind of annoying. But I can live with that because it's like at least there's a decent amount of benches like in the game. Yeah. Generally, I feel like I'm either finding benches every 2 seconds or I'm not finding them for like 45 minutes, and I
really love the bench in Hunter's March.
I saw that bench already,
that motherfucker got me.
Yeah,
that shit is so funny.
Well, we should probably bring this to a close. Unless anyone have any last minute thing, I want to talk about this patch and close it out with that. Is there anything else anyone wanted to hit on before we roll to a close? Any other haterade you want to chug, Janet?
No, but Chia, you like every aspect of this bullshit, is what you're telling me. Just so that I know where you are at. I think you're sick.
Place. Like
I think both of you are
some
sick.
points, but
exploration is part of the fun of this, and like I don't know. I think it.
But I was already gonna do that.
Huh?
I was already gonna do that. I'm already doing that.
I think.
There's no level of quality of life that has ever stopped me from exploring in a Metroidvania or feeling like I get to explore. Personally.
Okay. Sure. With my experience with this game,
Chia has ever been to a person on this podcast.
I'm just trying to gather a thought and like process that at the same time. And my brain doesn't work like that. But the
could
basically,
not be me.
I feel like I think it makes sense as options, right? But as a like baseline where the game is at feels like it wants you to sort of more intimately understand the spaces that you're moving through. And like I get that the sort of like kind of like intuiting or like being able to remember sort of like the layout of a space over time.
You don't understand.
Like is not a skill that like comes naturally to everyone, right? And thus there should be accessibility options for other people than me. But like the way I feel about the game currently is that I really like, and I feel like the spaces there aren't that so many things I have to remember about them. It's like, yeah, I could maybe point to it on the map, but more likely I can just muscle memory my way to where the druid is, less than like I remember exactly where the druid is on an XY axis, right? Like it's not like my memory's not that good.
I think for $1 million, if you give me 2 hours of time, I don't find him.
What?
I swear to fucking God.
Oh, really?
I swear to God, I don't think I find him. No, we
can I
can't
give
test
you a
this because
hint?
no one.
There's a bench there.
Also, just let me draw
Does
on
that
the
help?
map. Just let me draw on the map. Like little I hate this in these like little goofy little icons that I have to then write down in a note app. Oh, this is what I meant by this. No, just let me write it on the fucking map.
I will say,
You got
like,
a
one
goddamn
hack,
quill.
though.
There's a little quill icon that shows up every time I'm at a fucking
Yeah.
bench. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
I've got
have
a
the map
touch
yet, but
screen.
I put the marker where, like, just in a space of. I was like, I know that my little friend, my fast travel friend,
there.
is here.
Yeah.
So I have.
That's
we're
good.
building information. you know?
We're learning.
This is going to be a DIY. This is how much can I avoid what the game wants me to engage with? This is kind of the game I'm playing with Hollow Knight Silksong.
No, and I think like you were saying before, just like the quote unquote hacky way of getting around having no markers by taking the screenshot while the map is open, like things like that, are maybe things that the devs are leaning on as like, well, there's ways around it external to the mechanics that we put into the game, which doesn't excuse the lack of any accessibility options at all, right? Like there's just like different levels of memory and cognition even of it within human beings that
It should not be relied on modders to introduce basic accessibility options to players. Because that's ultimately what it is that if you want that, and that's different than, the stakes of Marika, like change that mod that I was talking about before.
That's the thing though. I think that would fundamentally change the game, because part of the reason that benches aren't close to bosses in my view is to much more freely open up the possibility of not going back immediately. Like, at least in this game.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at.
Once, not
that I'm agreeing with
hours
the weird thing.
But
because
10 hours, I think that's true, and then
Yeah,
it's
put
not
that thing
true,
outside.
and then it's
you
no
know when
longer
you're going
true.
to be doing the boss over
I'm
and over
here
again. Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
this, and
Yeah.
now...
Well, I think the perfect thing would be like an option for either, right? Like when you die, it's like, do you want to respawn at the bench or do you want to like just run it back?
Yes.
Would maybe be
Yes,
an in
I
between.
agree.
We can have it all.
We can have it all.
Also, wait, I think the last thing before you do the patch notes, Patrick, is I probably should answer the implicit question of, am I enjoying my time with Hollow Knight Silksong? The answer is I don't know. Sometimes I am. Sometimes I am. Like when I first started playing, I was like, wow, it turns out this game that everyone glazes is actually like really good and really fun. And then I was like, guys, we're going to see if this game gets too hard on stream. And I said, it might be a little too hard, but I'm not human, right? I can feel the glory of doing a hard thing because people say, oh, it's all worth it when you beat that hard thing. It feels good to beat a hard thing. Yes. That's not enough for me to like not be, again, I think that's why my big frustrations are more of a like quality of life frustrations than I'm not mad that the boss is hard. I mean, like, sure, it'd be nice if I was better at it, I guess, but like whatever. Like he's hard, he's swinging a stick, like figure out how to hit him. Like I can live with that.
This is also the funny thing is that you of the people that supposedly aren't as good at this game, quote unquote, were the one that banged your head through the guy blocking the path that's supposed to kind of be the like, hey, don't go this way, right? Like
but they did. This is like, okay, so I finally watched The Matrix. This is like that Matrix shit from Matrix 2. You put the cookies there because you knew I would throw it. It's like, yeah, but you put that hallway there because you knew that like people would do that, and that you wanted people to be able to
do the hallway.
choose it.
I just beat his ass.
Because they're too busy on this Silksong. No, just anyway. But yeah, so sometimes I enjoy it, sometimes I don't. Because again, I like fighting little things. I like Metroidvanias. I like platforming.
It's also worth understanding what this game is and like what works about it. Sometimes even a game that you ultimately decide, this game's also long. This game is 35, 40 hours. Like it would be totally normal if you played this game for a couple more hours and went, I see you, I understand you, Silksong, but I'm gonna uninstall this and walk away and
I'm
like
going
do
as
something
far
else with my time.
Is the like what I said in our Discord message was like, 'cause I was like, oh, I'm gonna play last night, and I would have played more, but I had I was doing other like stuff for other like work, so I didn't have as many hours at night as I thought I would to play Hollow Knight Silksong. But I'm like, I'm gonna play more of the game. How far I get, that's up to the game. It's in the game's in my mind. My whole experience, it's in the game's hands. EA, it's in the game. I don't know how far I will get. I will get as far as I can go. And I'm still going, so we'll see.
Well, we'll check back in. This broke, we'll close the segment with this, is that they did announce a patch for the game that is in the beta branch now if you're on PC, and then will formally roll out next week. So my guess is a week from now, this will be something that, will be lined up neatly with all the console releases as well. But if you are on PC, you can get into this now. Here, I'll drop it into our little chat here. Well, we'll see if it turns into a link, because that's half the time it doesn't do. Oh, look at that. It's a link. The important takeaways from here are slight difficulty reduction in early game bosses Morwing and Sister Splinter. I beat Sister Splinter
I'll see you next
night,
week, baby.
So I guess I'm good there. And Morwing. Wait, is Morwing, is that the one I accidentally... Yeah, I accidentally don't have to fight Morwing now, because I did a certain quest that makes Morwing not spawn. It's not a glitch. It's just, there's a thing you can do in the game with a quest. If you want to know,
It
slight
better not
spoiler.
be that fruit.
If you collect, have you met the fleas?
Yeah.
If you collect 5 fleas, I'm not gonna say what happens. A thing happens, and then like that boss is just not there anymore. It's like,
That's fun. That's cute.
which is cool. Slight increase in rosary rewards from relics and psalm cylinders. Increase in rosary rewards for courier deliveries. The generic Nintendo-esque various additional fixes and tweaks. So I think we'll learn a little bit more about what that is as people dig in. But
I need 2 more fleas.
it is... I think what's interesting is, and I'll be curious to see how this plays out, is there's obviously been, like, many of the memes around Silksong have been, like, people, joking about the Hunter's March and specifically the angled platforming. Stuff like that's not going to change. Like, some of that is just baked into what the game is. But I have been curious, what relationship will this game have with the community? How far will they go in acknowledging or working through balance changes? Or is this like, hey, the game is what it is. We spent 7 years. We'll do bug fixes. But like in terms of tweaking values and difficulty adjustments, like we made the game that we made. So I think that's interesting. I'll be fascinated to find out what those changes are. I guess I'm in a bit of a what was the boss that got nerfed in Elden Ring? It's the big open arena boss.
Radon.
Radon, yes.
Yeah.
I got to Radon after Radon was nerfed. Radon was still hard, but was, famously much more difficult ahead of the patch. So I guess
Where?
I dodged Morwing
Where's
and
Sisters? Where are those?
Sister
Are they-
Splinter.
Morwing, both of them. Where do
You're
they
on the
exist?
verge of being able to find Morwing. Sister
Okay.
Splinter is much further. It's like 2x where you are
Oh, okay.
right now.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I guess it's possible you could reach Sister Splinter. Like you'll know, Lady in the Claws on the ceiling.
Yeah.
You'll know you'll know Sister Splinter when you get to her.
Sure.
And I was able to put her down last night. So I'm just out here getting good. And we're all just doing our best. But
You were already good, you bastard.
this game does match to my best elements.
Like
as a
everyone
player.
good at like Souls. It's hard for me too. Okay, well then, what do you think it is for me? Like
No, this
anyway,
game is
but
hard. Like
it's fine.
like that's why asking Chia is like a point of comparison. Like I think this game feels harder than Hollow Knight, and so to have someone tell me yes, it is harder than Hollow Knight is. And Hollow Knight was a hard game.
I think
Free extra game if
and
I beat
think
Silksong.
I think it's 100. I think it's 100% just like the pogo change. Like after you learn how to like pogo
also,
well
the
in
enemies
the
hit like
the double. Yeah. That definitely hurts.
the double damage is
I
much
f-
more common in this game than it was in Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I think part of that is that you're getting hit more because you can't infinitely pogo on a boss's head like forever, right? Like you could get good at pogoing enough to like completely invalidate some bosses. This I think someone will maybe eventually, but just given the angle and the like the different like physics of it, I think it's a lot harder to never have to land, and also like I feel like they've added more jumping people. Like
the bosses also disappear off screen. One of the things they do a couple of times, we do have to close this segment, but like a couple of times they do, which is interesting. Bosses leave the screen, like do things. You can catch up to them,
hiding,
but they're like they run away, and so the game just plays with location of enemies and bosses in a way that I'm sure if you were to watch an expert player, right, like you could do infinite like pogoing-esque stuff in this game, like all that is probably built in. But I think you're right. For the average player, you're sort of meant to make that part of your repertoire and not necessarily as a crutch to like to not interact with the rest of the game. Like you can't just dodge what's going on in the game by pogoing away. Like there's an like.
Are we sure?
Well, not for you and I, for any of us on this call, but I think we're gonna close it out there. I'm sure we'll have many more Silksong thoughts in the future. If you're listening to this early, it's because you're a subscriber over at Remap Radio, and you're listening to a segment that we recorded early, got out early, because we just had to get our Silksong thoughts out as soon as possible. As always, we are a reader-supported show and website. If you enjoy Remap Radio and wish to become a supporter, you can learn more at remapradio.com/sign up, or just click the orange button in the upper right-hand corner of the website. Our subscribers let us keep doing the shows, the streams, and articles that define Remap. Thanks to everyone for listening. This episode was produced by Chia Contreras, and our thanks to Tumello for the Remap Radio theme. You can follow more of Tumello's work at tumello.net. It's where everything we do by heading to remapradio.com and listening to this early by signing up at remapradio.com/sign up, or gifting Remap Radio to someone at remapradio.com/gift. Please rate and review the podcast if you have a moment. We'll be back next week. Until then, fuck the Hunter's March. Go home.